Big band jazz, playing in jazz, jazz band, it's just jazz, it's yaz. I'm sorry. If you're checking this out, maybe it's because you want some warm-ups or some ideas on how to play jazz band music. Maybe it's for your middle school, maybe it's for high school, collegiate level. Maybe you're just curious about playing some big band along with play-alongs or whatever, or maybe you're even an instructor who's maybe not a drummer and looking for some tips to give your drummer on how to get the flow of reading charts and playing big band a little bit more smooth. So these are just some warm-ups I created, simple things, and if you put these into an exercise and play it, you'll be much further along when you go to start interpreting charts. This is my imaginary chart that's over here. So let's just get into it. We'll do the exercises, and then with a couple figures to see, what it'll be like when you actually put these things into action. All right, let's check it out. So the first thing I found is that when I would tell drummers, oh, if you're trying to interpret a figure, just play quarter notes on the ride cymbal instead of the usual jazz band time, they had difficulty doing that. So I think it's good to practice just going back and forth between playing regular jazz time and playing quarter notes. Because a lot of times when you're interpreting a figure, if you just switch to quarter notes on the ride cymbal, you'll have a much better chance of not getting hung up. And if you're playing swinging type figures, if you're not playing every ding, ding to ding, it doesn't matter. So we're going to be feathering the bass drum, playing that as quiet as we can, hi-hat on 2 and 4, 2 bars of just regular jazz time, and then 2 bars of quarter notes. We'll just go back and forth and just loop that and make that an exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next exercise is just playing a snare drum shuffle. So that's going to be interpreted right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. The right hand's going to play all the numbers. The left hand's going to play all the upbeats. Be careful because your left hand is going to want to switch and take over on the downbeats. So it's just a very common thing that happens all the time. First, let's just play snare drum alone, and then we're going to add the feet. So 1 and 2 and 3 and shuffle. After you get that going, add the feet. So do 2 bars of the feet, feathered bass drum, hi-hat 2 and 4, and then bring the snare drum shuffle in over the top. This might be a little bit weird to get going, so if you need to do just the bass drum or hi-hat or whatever, you can do that. But here's what it's going to sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, and. Now we're going to incorporate some motion with this. So we're going to move our right hand to the ride cymbal for just beats 1 and 3. Nothing is changing. We're just playing on the ride cymbal over here. It's the same pattern. That's what's cool about this, is nothing actually really changes. You're just playing in a different place. 1, 2, ready, and. If that's weird to get going right away, start from the snare drum. So do 2 bars of the snare drum shuffle and then move the right hand over. 1, 2, A. The last exercise is playing a kind of what is known as a backward shuffle. So you're going to play all the downbeats here and all the upbeats here. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, all of these are just snare drum shuffles. One is all on the snare, one is ride on 1 and 3, and then one is quarter notes on the ride cymbal with all the upbeats here. So now let's turn this into an entire exercise. So we'll play 2 bars of jazz time, 2 bars of quarter notes, 2 bars of snare drum shuffle, 2 bars of the ride cymbal on 1 and 3, and then 2 bars of the ride cymbal on all 4 beats, and then loop the whole thing. And that's your warm-up. And if you do that, you're going to be able to play a lot of figures. All right, here we go. if you can get through that warm-up, you're going to have a lot of stuff happening. The idea of being able to change into that quarter note ride to interpret figures a little bit more, and then also the shuffle pattern, which is going to be inherent in so many of the jazz band figures that you will encounter. So speaking of which, let's talk about just two basic figures and how we can interpret them by using these rules that we've just set up for ourselves. So the first one, as you can see down here, is just it's a 2-bar phrase, and at the end of the second measure you see the and of 3 and the and of 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to play jazz time normal in the first measure. Then in the second measure we're going to switch to quarter notes, and we're going to play the snare drum against those things on beats 3 and 4. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there, you're already doing it. You're switching to quarter notes, and that upbeat shuffle thing that you were working on is coming into play, and you just caught that figure 1, 2, 3, bop, bop, which you're going to hear about a bajillion times. So you can play jazz time just in the beginning of that measure, or if you want to and it's coming, you can actually play quarter notes through both of those bars and then just practice playing those upbeats. And then after that, if the hit is over and you're going back in the time, just come back into your regular jazz time the best that you can. All right, let's check out one more. This next one you were already playing as an exercise, and you'll often hear this figure as well. And the figure is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you might hear 1, 2, 3, 4, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, right? That sound. So you'll see it right here. Measure of time, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're just going to play quarter notes through that first measure for right now. And then interpret the figure as this shuffle pattern going back and forth between the snare, which is the exercise you already played, and here's the figure. Go figure. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So there's the warm-up. As you can see, it works its way right into the actual playing of figures immediately. So spend a little bit of time on that. Do that to get that going every time. And I think you'll find if you can switch to quarter notes and get used to playing that shuffle on the snare drum, that when you see figures on a chart, you're going to be able to get to them much more easily.